broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Grimm fans! Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV for Grimm After Show. So yes, sending emails because we're so excited.
Why do you think that's the email sound?
It sounds like emails are being sent in the background.
Yeah.
Does it not?
No, it's growls.
I know what you mean.
I'm going crazy then. All right, guys. We're talking about. First of all, I'm your host Zach Wilson. Thank you for joining us. Tweet at me throughout the week, throughout the show. I've got the chat roll up going. Me and Yael keeping an eye on you guys. You can tweet me at that Zach Wilson. Now let me introduce my fantastic panel. Talk about the Lost Boys, the Lost Girl. Yael Tygiel.
Hi, everybody. You can tweet at me live during the show and throughout the week at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And I am with you in the chat roll.
And you can tweet at me at Tauri J. It's TAURIJAY.
All right, guys. We got to start off as we often do with the quote. And this one was interesting. I, too, had a mother once. I didn't write it down. That was an email sound. I'm not going crazy. Why do I hear email sounds?
Yeah.
Because sometimes...
Somebody just keeps sending us emails. Okay.
I'm trying to host a show. Stephen Lemieux.
Was that the quote?
It's, I think I had a mother once.
I think I had a mother once.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. This is hard to make ominous. It's really hard to make that quote ominous.
I disagree. It sounds like he murdered his mother.
Right.
Think like that. Go.
I think I had a mother once.
That's better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Motivation. Well done.
You guys do great Keanu Reeveses.
I mean, that's my murdery. Like, usually I go into my grim announcer voice,
Right.
but this is the murdery grim announcer.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to know your guys' impressions on this episode. This was a slight return to Vestin of the Week, a little bit. What do you guys think?
I liked that we... So yes, when it started, I was like, oh, great, another Vestin of the Week story. But then I like that it tied in at the end to the bigger picture. I like that he was Warden Hook at the end. And of course, we all know what I really liked was that Meisner had multiple lines, and he essentially answered our questions. Not only did he answer our questions, but I had a lot of problems last time talking about how Adalind should go back to work. And then... like, all of a sudden this episode, someone's like, you should come back to work. I was like, yes! Yay! Like, all of the things that I wanted last week happened this week. And I'm okay with that. Well, except for one, but yeah.
That's true. The one big thing from last week. But I thought it was a really interesting episode. I liked how dark it was able to go.
Yeah.
And it, like, opened up a lot of questions, which were... which, not to say that Grimm doesn't usually do that, but it usually, like, wraps everything up in a bow. And I felt like this one left it open enough to where it was so intriguing, and there's so much more that they can explore with that world.
I was much more okay with the Vestin of the Week style story because it ended tying back into the arc that we're doing, because we've had very serialized storytelling for the beginning of this season. This was the more episodic version, but the twist at the end brings it back in. So that made me okay with it overall.
Yeah.
I still had some... I was a little torn on this episode, because like you said, you really liked Warden Hook. I was like, come on. What... Here's the thing. Grimm has had a few different ways that they've approached doing the fairy tales within the Grimm world.
Yeah.
Very early on, like the premiere, the pilot of Grimm was Little Red Riding Hood.
Right.
Sort of retold where it was like this modern thing, but more so recent, and I believe the second episode was Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Mm-hmm. That was the early, and like you had the character named Golda in that episode. But as the show progressed, they moved away from that into a place where the stories that we know are not being retold through Nick's eyes as a Grimm, but the stories were born from real versions of this that happened in the past. And I sort of liked that version of it more, where we're seeing the monsters brought back into the fold in modern days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This was like, hey, Peter Pan exists and he's a little
jerk.
Got Nick's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but he's not eternal. He's just like a little orphan child on the street who's like murdering moms because of some deep psychological disorders that have shared between him and 3 other kids. And like, I get it. It was a cute touch to like have like the first mom that we saw. She was Wendy. And then it was John and Lily, i.e. Tiger Lily. And like they kept tying those in. Right. It was a little much because in this world, I know that Peter Pan probably exists as a story.
Right.
So to have all of these things line up, it would have been, to me, the story would have been fine.
Yeah.
Without it, I think it would have been better without it. And like having somebody maybe point the analogy at them. Like this is like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Like
that would have, to me, that would be a stronger way to approach it.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I've never seen Peter Pan, so I didn't get any of those things until you just said them.
Like any version?
I've only seen Hook, which doesn't take place
like
really in the Peter Pan universe. In that like it's a post story, an epilogue, as opposed to being like in the Peter Pan myth.
You're hurting my feelings.
I know. But
like I'm not saying you need to see.
Good on you.
You should see the Disney version, but like you don't need to see that one. and don't go see Pan. I'm not recommending that, but like a version.
Yeah.
I actually I love Peter Pan. Did not care about the kids' names and didn't put them together. I only caught the hook at the end because I had seen the episode 2 or 3 times.
If it had just been Hook, I might have been more okay with it. But
I just caught that.
It was only like at the halfway mark, like 30 minutes in, that somebody said the lead kid's name, that he was named Peter, and I just went, ah.
But I'll say this, I feel like they said, okay, we need a story that will tie into kids getting drafted by this organization.
Yeah.
And so they were like, why don't we write this? Oh, you know what? Let's just make it Peter Pan style. That's how I felt the episode went. And they're like, great, let's give them Peter Pan names. I didn't feel like they were trying to do like Peter Pan and then tie it in. Does that make sense? I feel like they worked backwards. That said, I just heard from somebody recently that somebody in the chat room said Rufio. I just heard that the way Grimm was originally pitched to NBC was, look at how many Grimm fairy tales there are. There are over 200. We're going to do this show like this, and it's going to be a story every week. And they were like, great, you'll never run out of material. But then they read the stories, and not all the stories worked.
No, they don't. If you've ever read Grimm fairy tales, most of them are not about monsters.
Yeah. Right. So that knowing that information, it makes sense as to why we started one way and then changed completely, I guess for the better.
Yeah, I mean, what's been great about this show is that they, it started that way, but then they were able to bring in other mythologies and other stories that just like, because once you set up the idea of Vessin, like what does that, the implications, like we got the Anubis creatures 2 seasons ago. I loved that stuff. I mean, we yelled about it for a while.
The Aswang.
The Aswang was cool.
The golem.
I mean, the golem. They said that later this season, I don't know if you guys heard this, we didn't talk about it on the show, but at Comic-Con this year, they told us that we're going to get the Loch Ness Monster.
We're going to get the story that explains the Loch Ness Monster.
We're going to get we're going to get some version of the Loch Ness Monster story.
That actually could be, that information could be seen in my interviews from Comic-Con. Just gonna plug that right
there.
Go
to Yael.tv for more information.
Thanks.
But yeah, so I did like it. I think it was super creepy.
Yeah, no, it's just, sorry, Boo69B says, what, you've never seen Peter Pan? Have you been living under a rock? Excellent question, Boo. Yes, he has.
He's
Yeah,
been in
pretty much.
Neverland where they don't have movies, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hanging out on Skull Island or
Yeah.
something. That's, yeah.
You only saw Once Upon a Time, didn't you?
I've seen assorted things.
Can't even talk to you right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Back on track.
Chupacabra.
How did you guys? Were you creeped out by these kids?
I'm always creeped out by kids. Not a fan.
But like
These
were
kids
s-
specifically, I was like, you guys are annoying. I'm going to smack you.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily creeped out, but I liked the idea of these kids, where they're these Vessin that are kind of living on their own, trying to stay outside of the system, and they're so in need of like this love to give and receive that they're like stealing people off the street. They're essentially serial killers, but like they're cute and kids.
they're cute and cuddly serial killers.
I like that.
That's
what they are.
Well, I mean, they're cute and cuddly kidnappers. I think the murders are
accidental.
all accidental.
No,
I mean-
Peter straight up said, "If you leave, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
Right, because I believe now that they've killed one, they're like, well, now we can just do it. We don't have to make an accident.
No, she had to have been like their fourth or fifth,
Right.
Because Big John had a whole box full of like hair strands,
yeah.
and they were like
creepy.
Yeah.
That's where it goes from
Yeah.
like sad and like almost like you're on their side to whoa.
Yeah, because that's the hallmark of serial killers is keeping
Tokens?
Yeah,
trophies.
trophies. Yeah, we made her our mother and then we killed her.
Yeah, kids are little lying bastards. Yeah,
According to Elena Davis.
I believe according to Monroe. Monroe's lines about the kids.
Oh,
are
is that what?
Yes.
Is that what he's? Yeah.
They're I believe two things. They're our future and should be cherished, and they're little lying bastards. Yep.
I mean, did we not all know they were gonna shoplift when the two of them are in there, like making little like nods at each other?
You mean after they went to the pharmacy where they couldn't shoplift because there was security? Yeah, it was clear they were going to shoplift.
Breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Distraction, and then they grab Rosalie.
Because
Rosalie,
she's going to be a great mom.
because she wants a kid. Her and Monroe are talking about it in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else has babies now.
I honestly thought this episode was going to end with them deciding to become foster parents for Vessin. That's where I was really hoping it would go.
I did too. I really thought they were going to take the four of them in and start like the Monrosalie orphanage for wayward Vessin.
I know.
That would be so cute. I mean, do they have Vessin? I mean, we know that they have Vessin fertility clinics. Do they have Vessin specific like foster systems and adoption homes? Like you would think that they would.
You'd think.
I mean, isn't that where Warden Hook is running? Essentially.
Though I assumed it was more like a juvie.
Since he's a warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they have wardens at orphanages.
What do I know?
But here's my question with them: how do you think the four of them got together? These four. It wasn't just four kids, and like one of them is Vessin, so he
Right.
like leads a charge. Four different Vessin kids that were orphans found each other and
Yeah.
then like formed a little psychotic bond.
I mean, I think from what I've seen on SVU, when you're in foster care, you get shuffled around a lot. And I assume that these kids, as they started to change, realized that they were changing and that they're different. They met each other dealing with this and realized that they are all the same but different versions of the same. And,
Right.
and they thought they just happened to be these four freaks. Because I think they also had never seen an adult who could do it.
Yeah, I mean, they'd never heard the word Vessin
yeah.
before. They didn't know anything about Grimms or other people. Like, they thought they were just monsters. Maybe that's why they have this sort of shared psychosis.
Yeah.
Is that they think, oh, well, we were chosen to be monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to be together, but we need a mom, so we'll all do it. And they each have their own little pieces of the crazy.
Yeah. Mr. Goku Jr. says Grimm, the next generation. Yeah. led by Trouble.
Yay.
She's the big sister of all of these little children.
Yeah.
Can you imagine her like towering over these kids? Because she's already tall.
She's really tall.
Just standing there, and, like these kids are running around, voguing at her and looking up. Okay.
I can just imagine her being like, "You guys settle down, or I'll chop your heads off."
Almost did a spit take.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. But so after, they obviously get Rosalie out of there.
Yeah.
The instant it happened, I was like, use your smeller, Monroe. Like,
Smell her.
I was surprised he didn't track her down right away. That he needed to track the other mother.
Yeah.
And not just Rosalie's tracks from the shop. At least out into like the alley where the car was or something like that.
Right, I agree. I thought the same thing. Like he can just track her to the car and smell. There was a car, an old car.
Right.
Yeah.
But that only gets you so far. Like, essentially, it would get him to the alley, and then he'd be right back where he started. So,
Yeah.
utilizing the force of the police would be very handy. Which he
If
does.
only he knew cops.
Yeah. Speaking of, we'll get into that. Let's keep talking about the kids.
I think I had something and I lost it. You distracted me.
Sorry.
Kids, Adalind. Nope. Kids. Rosalie. She tells the story, and then she's like, "Of course, it ends with the Grimm cutting off his head." Like, yeah, of course. But those are children's stories. Love it. I think that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Love it.
I thought she was, when she was telling that story, I thought it was like a strategy that she was building up. And maybe it was in a way, like knowing that Nick is coming.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That like and that these kids don't know what these things are. Mm-hmm. That, if I tell them to fear a Grimm, that a Grimm is going to chop their heads off as soon as they see Nick.
Right.
They're going to freak the F out.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, that's what they do. They see Nick, take one look at him and go and run the other direction.
Yeah.
They're crafty little kids though with their booby traps.
Those were some impressive booby traps.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'd like to see the scene of them getting that log just propped up.
Big
Because
John.
Yeah.
Big John did
But
it.
still, that was a large log. Like, it would have taken him days. I guess he had the time.
Yeah, they have the
He's
time.
not going to work or anything.
Yeah. But so what I was saying before about cops, Nick's back to work?
Apparently.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't remember a moment from last week where he was put back on duty.
No, he was in fact told to go home.
And not come back to work.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was crazy, and then I was like, but no, they definitely ended last week's episode with Nick, don't come back to work.
Yeah.
Well, you could assume that some time has passed, though. Because it would have taken a little while to, one, sell the house, and then also, evacuate it of your stuff. What is the word I'm looking for? Move.
Pack?
Yes, pack. That's what it was.
I'm just saying it was worth addressing because they made it a big plot point last week.
No, I'm just trying to help.
I would
the writer.
have even accepted like a time lapse of the for sale sign and the sold sign.
Yeah.
Like, done. I will accept that. Time has passed. But
Yeah.
I agree with you that I think we're supposed to assume time has passed, especially because the first episode of the season was moments after the finale. And so now I think we're trying to get like back on track of time moving.
Right.
That's my theory.
They just didn't
Say it.
play to that.
Yeah.
So it was a little confusing.
Right.
It almost made me think because a lot of times networks will flop episodes for whatever reason, either
Right.
special effects weren't done in time or whatever.
Yeah.
But we can't based on the living situation.
Yes, but so that's why I was trying to figure out. Unless. But yeah, they're not going to put him back in the house.
Right. They can't.
It'd be very, very odd.
They can't. The set's gone.
Yeah. Maybe Pogue didn't test well, and they're like, all right, guys, we got to get him back to work.
I mean, yeah.
Pogue was fine.
Was he?
It's just,
He was okay.
He was fine. Like, I didn't have anything against him. He just wasn't like
A good cop.
He's too late to the
not
game.
he's not our Scooby Gang. We also didn't get to know him.
I don't like him.
Yael does not like him.
Yeah,
All right.
I
All right,
usually
all
like
right.
new people.
So, do you guys have any other thoughts on the little Lost Boys, tribe of Lost Boys?
I just really hope that now that we've put them back into a system, I hope they come back. Like, I'd like to see them later on in a fight sequence where they die, but like, I just feel like it would be
Where they die?
yeah, where they get beheaded by a Grimm. I just feel like I would like to see them come back.
So you want
to
Nick
push.
or Trouble to chop the heads off of some small children?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, thank you, Steven.
Audience!
Anyone who's ever met
Everybody,
me is like,
settle down.
Yeah, Yael really wants that.
Yeah. I will
Okay.
say, I will add to that in that, like, here's what this storyline made me think about. In that, it made me realize that every Vesson that gets killed probably has family somewhere, and these kids are probably like the kids of Vesson that have been killed by Grimms, just kind of hanging out. I mean, you have to imagine there are all these orphans, especially because the Grimm of olden time were so like chop happy.
Yeah.
And they didn't care where the Vesson came from or what their family situation is like, and only because we've spent so much time with the Vesson do we care. And that, so like,
I mean, Nick is an outlier. There aren't other Grimms that behave like this, that
Right.
befriend Vesson.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just kill him.
so you have to imagine that there are a lot of kids out there that are orphans because of Grimms, and I hope that that becomes a point or a plot or some way.
Yeah.
So that would be a reason for them to come back, is you see this consequences of all the Grimm's actions.
That could be cool. I mean, we left them saying "Occultatum Libere."
Yeah.
Which, like, what?
Nothing, somebody's pointing out how much I really don't like kids.
But it was at that. But it was when they said that, like, okay, now this is getting bigger. They're not just working underground. They're like
recruiting.
or recruiting or attacking random people. They're actively building a base. And with children, they're working their way into every corner of the system. Like,
Yeah.
they're not messing around. And so I was trying to think of a good transition for this, but I don't have one.
Okay.
But I want to talk about Nick's new digs.
Yeah.
Nick and Adalind's new digs.
Yeah.
The bunker.
It's not a bunker.
It feels
though,
like a bunker.
but it's above ground.
Do bunkers have to be underground? Is that a requirement?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a barracks. How about that? Is it?
It's a warehouse.
It is
warehouse.
it is a good safe house.
Yeah.
I loved this. I loved this idea because like when they first said they're selling the house, like, oh, so he's gonna just be in a different house, like in another part of Portland. I feel like it's gonna just be the same thing.
Right.
This is the characters playing to the top of their intelligence.
Yeah.
This is, hey, people seem to always know where we are. Maybe I shouldn't park my pretty easy to spot truck out on the street. I'll get a garage that closes. Maybe I shouldn't let everyone know where I am. I'll buy something that says paint factory on the side and build an apartment inside. Even going so far as to never move his own furniture in and putting it in storage so that movers don't know where he is.
Yeah.
You can't track, other than just following his car. Again, you should probably get like a black Mazda or something.
Yeah, he has a very distinct car.
Yeah, go get a white Prius. No one will be able to track you.
Especially not in Portland.
But I like it because they really do have to struggle with this. They really would have to struggle, and this is a perfect solution.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem was that he didn't get himself a bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, his bed is in the center of the, like, living room, kitchen, dining room area next to the bathroom.
Well, but it's very like Nick to essentially sacrifice the bedroom for, his kid and
the kid's mom.
The kid's mom.
The kid's mom who may or may not have sexually assaulted him, depending on how you look at it.
Right. Yeah. Her.
I didn't say it.
And, I mean, if him being in that common area puts him first to respond to any danger that might pop through the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like, it's not a bed, it's a guard post.
Right.
He's got a gun 4 inches from his face.
The question is, how long can people, like, how long are they supposed to live like that? Because he's constantly in danger. He's constantly under attack. And now his kid and baby mama are also going to be in the line of fire.
Well, I assume he did say it's good for now.
Right.
He implied that they are going to do more. He has a whole factory to work with. I feel like as he has more time, they'll build like extensions.
Sure.
Like, hey, we're gonna build some more siding on this like packed down bunker of a room, like line some more walls and stuff with armor and everything for a playroom, and then maybe a private bedroom for Kelly, and then Nick can get his own room.
It reminds me of when the first time Nick was kicked out of his own bedroom, when he slept on the couch, and we were all like, oh, there's no guest room. And then as soon as Juliet's friend came to stay, it was the first time there was word of a guest room in the house. Remember this? Oh. We talked about this, like, where did that guest room come from? I feel like that's where it's going to be, that eventually he will move into a bedroom, and we'll be like, when did they build a bedroom?
But what I'm saying is, in this episode, he basically established that there are more plans. They haven't had time.
Right.
This is fairly impressive we don't know how long it's been, but it's fairly impressive that they just built this with I don't know who was doing it, if it was just Nick, or it was Nick and Hank and Monroe, or what. But, it's got alarm systems, like big bolted doors, drilled into the brick. Like, it's a pretty nice setup. Mm-hmm. How are you guys feeling about Nick and Adalind together? Whatever. Well, I want to know what you guys think of where they are in their friendship, relationship, just situation.
I keep saying that I'm okay with them getting together if we see it become an organic relationship, and that's what we're seeing, right? Like, we see him taking care of her and him taking care of Kelly and being a good, supportive father to the child. And there are no expectations between them. Nobody's, pushing or forcing anything. And, when she invites him into the bed, it's just that she doesn't want to be alone. And I like that they're both wide awake and very uncomfortable, because that's what it would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because Nick and Adalind have never been together as Nick and Adalind. That's never happened. So the idea of them being in a bed together as parents, as
super
two
weird,
lonely people who just wanted to feel warmth next to them,
are basically only connected by this child who was an accident. Mm-hmm. Not in a mean way, but they didn't mean to have this baby.
Absolutely.
And I can't imagine being in that situation. And Nick is trying to be the stand-up guy, because he is Nick. He doesn't want to mess around. It's not like he cheated and had a love child.
Right.
I'm not going to get into it.
He's a good guy.
Right, yes, he's a good guy.
So the interesting thing for me in this situation is examining Adalind and how she's behaving, because this is Adalind minus the Hexenbeast side.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They brought up they were each other's firsts.
Yeah.
You were the first Grimm I ever saw. You were the first Vesson I ever saw. Lean in.
I'm really okay with this relationship building. I am.
It is building well. It is. Claire Coffey and David Giantelli have a fantastic chemistry, and so it becomes a thing where you sort of are you almost don't care about the fact that these characters have this insane past, because the two of them now together have such a good build. They play off each other so well that you want to see what the two of them together would be like.
And they're trying to be respectful of each other.
Yeah.
That's the cool part, is they're like, we're gonna be mature adults and respect each other. And I think the fact that Nick is busy working and Adalind hopefully is going back to work.
Yeah.
Like that they're not going to be in each other's way. And it's going to be this beautiful, respectful co-parenting. And her as a human, not as a Hexen beast, makes it really interesting. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The chat roll has some interesting stuff. Like Javi's is saying like they want co-parent but no romantic relationship. They've never even been friends or friendly.
Yeah.
That's true. They've never hung out and watched a movie. I mean, maybe in this time that we've just seen pass, they have.
Now they're Netflix and chill kind of people.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I meant like actually Netflix and chill.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
You know, catching up on some.
What did you think we meant?
Master of None?
Master of None.
It's a new movie.
Don't
worry about
Go
it.
watch it.
Yeah, it's great.
Shut up, guys.
But so, yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I want to see more from them. I like that the way that this is building. Mm-hmm. Another interesting thing that's coming into it now is convenient plot device Lane.
Yes.
As I'm calling him.
Love it. I asked for that last week.
Yeah.
I said, she used to be a lawyer, remember?
Yeah, I
and then they
remember
went,
that.
We remember. That's what they did, is they went, we remember.
Yeah.
So happy.
Do you think she goes for the job?
Yes.
I think she does, not to predict or anything, but I feel like it's going to be part of this whole uprising thing. I feel like they're also going to be part of it.
The law firm is behind the uprising, or involved. They're the legal defense. Maybe there's a blute bot there, and then there's some kind of ram vessel there, and one that just for some reason has a really big heart. I don't know.
Okay.
There's like 4 people in the audience who totally understood what I was going for there.
No. Not
Wolfram and Hart from Angel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
You guys got it. Sure. But no, that I mean, even uprisings need legal representation every now and again.
I mean, yeah, they had a financial guy. They have a guy in a prison recruiting. Like, they are literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and maybe that's just my hope, is that like she's gonna go join this firm, and she's essentially gonna be working for the bad guys, and it's gonna be like, oh man, my livelihood, but also, you know, a job and stuff.
James has bad Angel reference back.
Come on, James.
No, I think it'd be really interesting if she's working for the bad guy and then stays to like infiltrate.
Yeah.
Because she's already in.
Ha! Lydia Cerebro says, Wolfram and Hart. Nice reference, Zach.
Shut up.
No, I think here's the thing, is that when she does say she wants to go back to work, and this is just a thing that people have to go through when they have a kid, Nick is working crazy full time, hunting Vessin all over the place. Who's gonna watch Kelly?
Trouble. That's how she became the nanny. Nanny reference. Nanny reference.
Sorry.
Yes, so good. Yes.
Troubles in sitting.
Nice.
It's a work in progress. Dylan, I know you're listening. Dylan, we need your help. We need a trouble babysitting combination hashtag. Have it for us soon. Actually, I think that is the perfect thing. I hadn't thought of this before. I'm going to change it.
Oh, yeah.
To it. That's what I want. Dylan's not eligible. But we've talked about it every week. We have these fantastically terrifying Monroe masks or fans or whatever they can be.
Fan masks.
That we got. These are San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that Tauri and I picked up. We've got a bunch of them to give away. We gave away one last week, and I owe a Twitter message to the person that we gave it away to, or just send us a Twitter message. You know who you are. But let's give this one away. I want the best trouble babysitting hashtag that you can come up with. Don't give it away in the chat. because tweet it at us. You need to tweet it at me, Tauri, and Yael, and you're gonna have to be following all three of us on Twitter to be eligible. So tweet us the best hashtag that you can that involves trouble and babysitting, and we will send the winner one of these Monroe masks.
I will add to that you can send more than one.
Yes,
but don't send the same one like 50 times.
Right.
We will see them all.
Yes.
And use an easy way to help us find it. We'll tweet at all of us, but also include the hashtag ABTV Grimm, which is, I believe, somewhere over here. Or it might be over here.
Good guess.
It's a
floating hashtag.
Look, I'm on the other side of the camera.
It's somewhere here.
But anyway... So, and another way that you can support us that
Mr. Goku says it's too much work.
It's not hard. Most of you are already following the three of us. Yeah. Just tweet us with your best trouble babysitting reference. But guys, another way that you can absolutely help us out is, and we've talked about it a lot on the show, is iTunes. And it's a big thing. It doesn't just help us feel good about ourselves, but it does.
It does.
When you guys like our show and we hear what you guys think, because we want to know what you really think of the show, because we want to make it the best show that it can possibly be, the best Grimm after show out there. And your iTunes reviews have helped the network be more findable, helps other people find the podcast, so it helps keep us more reachable. It's how we get the amazing guests that we've gotten on this show, is because they can take one look at iTunes and know, wow, the fans love these guys. Because if you guys remember, we've had Sasha Royce. Damn it, I always get it backwards. Roy's on this program. We've had Claire Coffey. We've had Brian Letcher. We've had Bree Turner. I want to have more, and we have other stuff in the works.
Yeah.
And the iTunes reviews are a big way to help us out. And trust me when I say, this is going to be a fun season.
I can tell you that we're actually actively working on a lot of people coming in. Bud really wants to come in.
Yeah.
Guys, Danny Bruno really wants to come in.
We've been talking to Reggie Lee, and we've been talking to some other people, and you're just gonna have to stick around to find out.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to give some shout outs, because it's another thing that you get if you write us in.
I also have shout outs when you're done.
Yeah, because JRenee424 says, best hosts on AfterBuzz.
Aww.
5 stars. Love this after show and the very knowledgeable, enthusiastic hosts.
Yeah.
And JG8472 says, great shows, great people. Originally, I started listening to podcasts to keep from being bored while commuting to work 3 hours each day. That's a rough commute.
Yeah.
Even by LA standards. And we have very high standards for traffic. Or low standards, whatever it is.
I was going to say low standards.
Yeah. But as I listen to different AfterBuzz shows, Grimm, S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, Flash, Doctor Who, Blind Spot, etc., I think we've covered almost all of those, except for Blind Spot. I became familiar with all the different hosts and found myself looking forward to hearing all of their insights and opinions each week. I don't listen live, but it's great that you keep up with the comments from the listeners. Thank you so much for making my drive to work a lot more bearable and entertaining. JG.
Thanks.
Thank you, JG. Thank you for listening. That means the world. And again, it does really help us out.
Yeah.
Yael, you have shout outs.
I do. Paul White, Alicia, US TV Addict, Alexandra Charlotte. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. I know you're French. And at Grimm_MTFT. I want to thank you all for bombarding me with photos of Meisner. I appreciate it very much. But also, I just appreciate you guys. So thanks.
Aww.
Yeah. To the Grimm Wiki, amazing, wonderful people sent me all of the screenshots.
Nice.
I'm going to tell you now, they were nobodies. There was absolutely nothing useful in there except for that one picture of Renard.
You're referring to the computer screen that had the flashes last week that we asked for help with.
Right.
Yeah.
But I responded with gifts to the Grimm Wiki, which is all images that I got from the 100th episode celebration in Portland, and I sent them all a bunch of behind-the-scenes shots, which they will be posting on the wiki, and we will be releasing here as well, including a nice close-up of the Keys map so far. Like what the Keys have built so far. I have a great shot of that we're going to share on the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As that becomes more important.
We don't have that tonight.
No, we don't.
I was like, I haven't seen that yet.
No, tonight we have a different gift.
Yeah, we do have a video, so stick around.
Yeah, I thought every week I'll bring something new to share. Because
Nice.
I have so much. Also, I saw Kelly's head in the box.
Oh,
That's creepy.
It was just sitting there.
Yeah, we're very jealous of Yael, who got to go up there for the Grimm 100th episode, like press junket. Got to meet pretty much everyone on the cast.
Yeah.
We met a bunch of them, but Yael got to meet all of them.
yeah. We tried to sneak in her luggage, but we were too
X.
big.
The lady at Alaska Airlines was rude.
Yes,
Yeah,
very
the
much so.
X-ray sort of gave me away. I almost made it through as a snowboard.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen my photo at Renard's desk, Sasha saw it and said they're changing the locks.
Mr. Goku Jr. says, "Don't bring in Damien Puckler for Yael's sake," and then, which Lydia responds to, "Yael will die of happiness." We don't want to have to clean that up.
Yeah, you do. Worth it.
Wait, why do I want to clean it up?
Worth it. It's worth it. My happiness is worth it.
Okay. Anyway,
Speaking of Damien Puckler, are you gonna?
Yeah.
Is it time? Can we talk about it now?
yeah.
I've been holding on to it.
We got this big scene with Renard and Meisner, which eventually led to Meisner leaving the cage, and we got to find out about that. Let's deal with Renard first.
Yeah. We got pretty much all the answers that we'd asked.
We got a lot of answers.
So it seems Victor struck a deal with the Resistance to kill the king because he was all pissed that they replaced him with Kendall, right? So, like, we now have answers as to how Meisner got on the helicopter because Victor and him made a deal, and that the helicopter and the body are missing. And it made it seem like Victor has Diana, because he kept saying Diana's safe, and that was the trade. So either Victor has Diana or Victor put Diana somewhere safe.
Right.
That's what it seemed like to me. Zach?
That Diana was safe.
That Diana's with Victor.
That's not what I took away from it. I'd have to go listen to it again with that in mind.
He says she's safe. I don't know where she's with friends. But that it was the trade for the Resistance to kill the king.
That they gave
they
the
got
royals Diana.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what it sounded like.
I'll have to go back and re-listen to it. I didn't pick up on that.
I watched the scene 3 times.
Okay.
Just so
I
we're
think
clear.
let's trust Yael's interpretation.
No,
yeah.
It's an interpretation. I just
Right.
wanted
Well-
to be clear that I watched it 3 times, guys.
Right.
Yeah. Of course you did.
Also, Victor is
course you
currently
did.
on the throne, which is the question that we'd asked.
Yeah, who is king now?
And in my interview with Sasha when I was up there, he also said that, like, lineage-wise, Victor would be on the throne.
Makes
Right.
sense, yeah.
But that if Sean wanted it, he could probably take it. And we all agree that's true.
Do you think that's true? Like,
That if Sean-
legitimately, like, not just as like I mean, it'd be great to see on the show, but, like, does it make sense? Like, if Sean. Captain Renard made a claim for the throne, would anyone back him?
Oh, I don't think claim. I think if he wanted
if
the
he
throne,
just wanted to take it.
yeah, he
like
would
by
take.
force?
Yeah, I think Renard would be able to.
With what army?
Meisner.
So, okay,
The
so
Meisner
by
army.
the end of this scene,
Yeah.
do you think that Meisner is actually on Renard's side? They seem cordial,
Mm-hmm.
but like some things that we have to remember. Last season, Renard's other like
Sebastian.
lackey, for lack of a better term, because like when we first met Meisner, he did seem to be to be Renard's lackey.
Yeah.
Right.
We know now that he is not that at all. But the other person that worked directly for Renard was Sebastian, who warned Renard not to trust Meisner.
Right.
Specifically told him not to trust this man.
Yeah.
Right.
Who is now in his office telling him what he wants to hear, more or less. How do you feel their relationship is right now?
So I believe, based on what we've seen so far, I think that Meisner is leading the big we're supposed to believe he's leading the big bad, right? Because he was working, or not the big bad, the uprising, but the big bad, the SGO.
SGO, yeah.
Because he was having the conversation with Chavez. She's gone. He's in charge, kind of, it seems.
Right.
So I think we're supposed to think that he's not such a great guy. I'm not going to look in the chat roll until I finish talking. But I think that it's going to turn out that I feel like what we're going to end up having is the SGO and the Scooby Gang working together. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, against the uprising, and that Meisner is going to be. It's kind of like the way I was saying this to you earlier. I feel like the way Renard was the big bad the first season, but it turns out he wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're headed. That's my belief.
Maybe. I mean, the one struggle with that is that we're sort of. I know when we see him, like, basically he's been beating up Trouble. We aren't really on his side, but because we're already positive, we feel positively about Meisner. And I know that this after show is a little bit skewed in terms of, like, how we feel about Meisner.
What? I'd be okay with him being the villain.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like, we want him to be good because we've talked about him so much. So, like, he is a positive person in our eyes.
Absolutely.
But I think that but with that in mind, I still think that the audience sees him as a good guy because of his time with Adalind.
Yeah.
So I personally am looking at this thinking there's more to this. He's still good despite caging Trouble and beating her up.
Yeah.
Which is insanity.
Right.
Which, if you're a fan of Meisner,
we're Meisners.
the chat roll just named.
Oh no!
Is that a thing?
Claire Coffey named us. I tweeted it out, and then she retweeted to let everyone know. Claire Coffey named Meisner fans Meisnerds, and she gave me permission to be Queen Meisnerd.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I think you no permission. You already were,
If
but
the
like,
crown
but
fits.
but it's like you can say you're king all you want unless people acknowledge you as such. But if Claire Coffey acknowledged you as queen of the Meisnerds, I'd say it's pretty official.
She did. The chat roll is fully aware of my throne.
I had not heard that word before, but it's perfect.
Claire Coffey coined it. She gets full credit.
Nice.
I think I still stand by. Okay, so Meisner, up until now, we've been told time and time again that he's a gun for hire.
Right.
He's a gun for hire, and we've been told that he's human. Or it's been hinted.
Yeah, it's never been.
It's never been said for sure.
Yeah.
It seems to have been implied
Right.
that he's human.
Right.
Right. I think I still stand by the fact that he might still be a gun for hire, that he's now working with the SGO. They brought him on to train and whatever. I think wow, everyone's going crazy about my royal title. I think that because everyone's asking about the Trouble thing, and is he trying to break Trouble? Is he trying to, mold her or whatever? I think they're working together, or they will be working together, because the last time, if we saw, remember she went with Chavez last season, and Jacqueline reminded me this in our interview, that she was trained with Chavez. They trained her to do whatever. That's where she was.
Right.
So I think that either he had to retrain her or reprogram her, and that's why she was in the cage. But I'll say this. I'm going to say it, guys. I am okay with shipping Trouble and Meisner, and I want to call it Treisner.
Gross.
Treisner or Mubble.
I really like Treisner.
Meisnubble.
Meisnubble. No.
Come on.
Mibble?
No.
It's like you have Mibbles in your mouth.
Trouble for Meisner? Is that the hashtag?
No. Treisner.
I think Trouble for Meisner is...
Meistards. We're not Meistards. Meisnerds, guys.
So that's okay. I mean, we've seen them. The only interaction we've seen from them is some off-screen fighting that left with both of them beaten and bloodied.
Right.
Oh, and thank you for that screenshot of him in that shirt with the gun.
But so here's the question: is why was she in that cage? If Trouble was trained by these people and it was working with these people, my first thought is, now he finished brainwashing her.
I think because she went off to warn Nick. Right? In the season finale, she's there to she goes to help them with the Kenneth problem.
Right.
I think because she abandoned the SGO to warn Nick.
But then why was he fighting her?
Because she disobeyed them.
Right, and I imagine that she wouldn't take
punished.
to being caged up very lightly. So I think that every time he would go in there to talk to her, she would try to beat the crap out of him, and he'd be like, "All right, well, at some point we're gonna have to talk." And then finally, she was ready to.
He
chat.
likes to talk.
Okay, I could.
Sorry. Mrubble. No, I don't like Mrubble.
Rubble.
Meisner Rubel. Mrubble. That would be his name if they got married. Sorry, guys.
Is Meisner his last name?
Oh, yeah.
Would it be Teresa Meisner?
Whatever, it's Martin. So Martin Rubel. Mrubble.
Marisa.
All right.
We got off topic.
Very little time left, you guys. Very little time left.
I think we should spend it talking about it.
I think that is a good thought when it comes to what was going on in there. That's a version that I would want to believe, because I like both of these characters as we see them now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact, like, having the two of them brawling in a small cage is like, I know it's the thing of Yael's dreams.
That's similar, but not my dream.
But not what we want to see from these two people. So
Right.
I would love to see them as sort of partners, as maybe the more intense version of Nick and Monroe kind of thing.
Also a very sexy version of Nick and Monroe. Just saying.
Yeah. They're both amazing.
They're both great looking people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Yael's fawning over Meisner per the usual, and I'm fawning over Trouble. I don't know. I can't speak for Tauri.
Well, I'm also finding. Wait, can we just?
All right, fair.
Excuse me.
Yael's like, throw me in that cage.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, enough with the shipping.
Let's take a look at this video that
Yes.
Yael brought us. Going back, we're going to talk about Nick's new digs again.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Adalind's room in the bunker. Baby stuff right over here. I'm giving a frickin' tour. Crib
I'm excited.
for Kelly. Good thing the creepy baby doll isn't in there. It was super creepy. All right, we're going down the stairs in the bunker. We got the kitchen, baby bottles.
I want to go to
Those are for like pumping and stuff. Kitchen.
Those were like specific baby bottles
Nick's
for pumpkin.
bed.
Weird, yeah. That was weird.
Ooh, the stairs upstairs.
To like the roof area?
Ooh, the elevator they come in. Sweet. It's really dark, you can't see it.
Very
but like,
excited about an elevator.
I really
here
was.
you go, guys. Thank you.
Some lady told me to do it from a different angle. That's why it switches angles.
Deadlocked doors. Nick's bed. Dirty thoughts going in my head, guys.
Couldn't help it. I was gonna sit on it.
And a bathroom. Let's see what stuff they have here. Mouthwash, soap, generic deodorant with no label, towels. Good toilet paper.
Double take on the
Here's a
toilet
question. Does the toilet work?
No, don't do it, Yael.
I didn't do
Who
it.
is in the shower?
Yo, the first person to flood a set.
No, it wouldn't flood. There's no water.
Ooh, that would have been creepy.
Yep, that was my visit to the bunker.
That's very cool.
I'll tell you this: the baby doll that they use as a stand-in when they do the like shoots is terrifying. The doll is just terrifying. The twins were also there, and all the like press was taking photos of the twins, and I was not impressed. The twins
Okay.
that play Kelly, I was like, okay.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to have time for predictions this week, but I think we've done enough throughout this show.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this episode, guys, or thoughts moving forward?
No.
No.
Well, Yael, they want to we want to catch the rest of the interviews that you did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The rest of the interviews are available on Yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. They're also on YouTube, and I tweeted them out at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. That's where those are.
Tauri?
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter at Tauri J. It's TAURIJAY. And also on assorted panels here on AfterBuzz TV.
I'm gonna need to respond because people are saying, Zach, you gave up on Rosalie. Never. I will never give up on Rosalie.
Yeah.
I can have two loves on this show.
Absolutely.
Never. Forever. Rosalie forever. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at that Zach Wilson, ThatzachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz on a whole bunch of panels, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Leftovers, Muppets. Definitely you're going to want to tune in for Muppets this week because we reached a stretch goal for iTunes reviews, which means I'm going to be showing off footage of me when I was on Sesame Street as a child.
Oh.
So ABTV Muppets,
Oh my
Tuesday
God.
night. Tune in. Guys, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.